What's up, y'all? Mario Lopez joining me now in studio from the Netflix show Insatiable, actress Kimmy Shields. How are you?
I'm so good.
So where are you from, Kimmy?
I'm from Torrance, California.
Oh,
so
you're
I'm
a local girl.
Yeah, I'm a locally sourced girl.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school here?
I went to South High School down south, and then I actually went to college in Hollywood at a conservatory called AMDA. It's sort of a theater conservatory. So my whole life has been in and around Los Angeles, and I love it.
You are one of the rare natives.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is cool.
So you've always been a performer. You always wanted to get into acting.
Pretty much, yeah. It lucked out for my parents, I think, because I was a very hyper, very loud child. So not much has changed since then, but they were smart to put me in a place where that was actually encouraged. You know, those being energetic and loud is the two keys to success in theater. So
right, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So I did my first play when I was 6, and then ever since then, that's just been my life, and I love it.
It worked out.
Yeah.
So tell me about this new Netflix show, Insatiable. What's the premise?
Oh my gosh. So it's about our leading lady, Patty, who has grown up overweight and bullied as a result of her weight. And she gets in an altercation that results in getting her jaw wired shut, and she loses.
Oh, a serious altercation.
Yes. And she gets her jaw wired shut and loses about 80 pounds over the course of the summer, and is suddenly thin for the first time and is treated very differently because of that. Oh. And then she decides to exact her revenge on the people who have bullied her whole life. So it's a satire / very cautionary tale of what happens when you are an angry person, essentially. And
right.
Yeah.
And you play her best friend.
I play her best friend, Nani, who is secretly in love with her. Not so secret on the show, it turns out. But yeah, so Nani is sort of the LGBTQ storyline of the show, which is very exciting.
And your character isn't afraid to call her out for being selfish, right?
Yeah, they do have some. They have pretty much a falling out within the season where Nani's just sort of sick of being a puppy dog for Patty and sick of kind of having all of her life issues walked over because Patty's always seemed to be more important. So that it felt kind of cool to get to be that powerful, because I'm so passive in real life that it was like, oh, this feels fun.
Comedy. It's a comedy drama?
Yes, dark comedy.
Dark comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, it seemed like it'd be some funny elements. Do you guys shoot here in LA?
We shoot in Atlanta.
Yeah,
which was just the best experience ever. I really was not prepared for how much I was going to fall in love with that city and its people and just the whole. I just found such a divine community there. So it made the whole process great, and I'm really hoping we get to go back for many more seasons, or at least a second season, and just keep doing it.
There's a lot of production there, huh?
So much stuff. I'm trying to tap in on that Marvel cash cow, maybe for like Avengers 12 or something, so I can get in on that down in Atlanta.
Now, the show came on my radar because I know it created a little controversy. Some say it sort of reinforces stereotypes instead of breaking them down. But first of all, I think people are too hypersensitive these days anyway.
Amen.
So how do you see the characters and the message it's trying?
Well, my brother helped put it into good perspective, is that sometimes satire can be so good it's indistinguishable from real life, which I think is a testament to how good our show is, because people took it a little too literally when it first became available. So that is tricky, but once you watch the show and spend time with it, you understand that, basically you're supposed to do the opposite of everything that these characters do, because they all have good intentions, but the worst execution. So if you watch it with a laugh in mind, then it's going to be a great experience for you.
Yeah. No, it sounds very clever.
Yes, it is.
I want to check it out. You're also in the upcoming film Ad Astra.
Yes.
Cool title right there, and it's got a great cast. Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah. Is it sci-fi, or how would you describe it?
We are in space on several planets. I played a character who was born and raised on the moon. I felt like Tilda Swinton because they lightened my eyebrows. And, so I was channeling my inner queen, Tilda.
How far into the future does it take place?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember. I'm sure at least 100 years or something.
So it's not really determined. It's so could we live on the moon? Because I know we can't live on Mars because there's no oxygen. It's like 300 degrees below.
That's not on the moon either.
What's not on the moon?
Oxygen.
No, but it's not as hot, or is there other elements that we could?
Well, you would have to have like a moon base to live in. You couldn't just like cruise outside
and just
in
go
a
to the-
t-shirt and
okay,
jeans.
but they could develop. So how did they do it? Like, how did you live on the moon? I'm fascinated
I
by
suppose
that.
we were
like the
in-
moon seems possible. Mars seems like the moon. Like we could probably pull it off.
Probably, especially if it's made of cheese, then I'll be there. But yeah, it's like living. It's like the International Space Station. It's like you're living on a base on the moon in which the conditions are livable, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it was a really great experience. Mr. Pitt is very cool and was shockingly nice. I don't know about shocking, but very nice, and was super down to just play and goof around, and it was great. I was like, is this happening? It felt like an out-of-body experience.
When is that movie supposed to be released?
I believe it comes out next year, because when you're dealing with space, that means you're dealing with CGI and a lot of post-production
Takes a minute to put together
stuff. So yeah, next year hopefully.
Nice. Well, congrats on that.
Is it true you actually shot on the moon?
Yes.
Is it true when you're not on set, you like to flip some pizza?
I do. I don't like to personally flip them. I don't trust myself with that, but I do like to answer phones in order to instigate the pizza flipping process. I've worked at this pizza shop for like 3 years now, 3.5, I guess. And it's great. It's like, it's a 5-minute drive from my house. So it's just built on its locals and regulars that have lived at the beach for decades. And it's just a fun place to hang out. And they've been so gracious and so supportive while I'm off pursuing these weird artistic things. And if I'm coming from an audition in Burbank, they will understand why I'm 2 hours late to a shift, because getting from the valley to Redondo Beach at 4 p.m. is not for the weak of heart. So that's meant a lot. And they cheer so loudly and so frequently that it's like the best thing
I
ever.
love it. Love it that you keep it real. Nice.
I mean, I'm nothing without my village. It's like if left to my own devices, I'm just a crying, anxious mess. But I'm very thankful to have a family and group of friends that are just down to rally and
Right. Are you single? Are you married or?
I am not single, not yet married because I'm a child.
Well, then you're single.
But
you're not married.
On tax forms, I'm single.
Okay.
In real life,
then that.
In real
qualifies.
life, I am happily
You're spoken for.
Spoken for, yes. I'm
That's good.
pinned. Somebody has pinned me,
Oh,
as they say in the
nice.
50s.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. This has been going on for a while now. For Relatively New.
A little bit. It's relatively new-ish, but we've been friends for a little while, and it was just one of those natural progressions of things, and it's just the best.
Is it easier to date people that are in the industry?
Yes, absolutely.
Because they understand.
They get it. They get the long hours. They get the weird last-minute schedule changes and all those kinds of things, and they I don't know. They understand it from an inside view, so that's easier to speak the language. And
civilians don't. It's tough.
Yeah, those low lifes. You know what I mean?
Civilians. You talk about
I didn't say low life. I said civilians.
Yeah.
Civilians. You talk about it like you're in the military.
Well, you kind of got. I can feel. I could. I know what you're saying.
Yes. It's like if you were a
those
doctor,
peasants.
you'd want to. Yeah.
I totally didn't even mean it like that.
I know.
But I certainly did. No, I mean, it's like if you're a doctor, you want to marry a doctor because they're not going to be like, how come you work 14 hours a day?
Right,
it's like they get it. So,
exactly.
and it makes the time off even more precious after you've been in the trenches working on something to then be able to spend time together. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Quick questions, quick answers.
Oh my gosh, I hate these. My brain is gonna explode. Okay.
Go-to karaoke song.
Respect Aretha Franklin.
Is that just because it's timely at the moment, or
no,
had that
it's been my
always
go-to
been?
since I was 10 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Last movie you saw in theaters?
Mission Impossible Fallout at the drive-in movie theater.
I heard it was really good too.
It was great. That was the first Mission Impossible movie I've ever seen. So it was the best one by far.
I actually heard that.
But even from like a filmmaking perspective, the cinematography and the halo jump and the whole thing, just knowing how much went into that, what really showed. It was such a terrific movie.
Go-to late night snack.
Oh, anything chocolate.
Dark milk.
Milk. Come on, I'm not a psychopath. Milk chocolate.
I've been through a dark chocolate phase lately.
Really?
Like, I don't discriminate. I like all chocolate, but as of late, I've been really liking some dark chocolate.
To me, dark chocolate feels more decadent. Like, that feels more
too
specific.
fancy.
Yeah, that's
really
like,
fancy. It feels
know.
healthier to me. That's
It
why I've
is,
been
but
eating.
it's
I mean, I don't know if
so-
it is. I think that's
I
fallacy.
think it has some
That's
health
what they
benefits.
say. The darker,
Theoretically,
the higher
I don't know.
percentage of cacao involved, the better
I
it is.
always
for you.
go for the cacao.
So I'm like, give me the milky one.
A
I
high
wanna-
cacao percentage is
Yes,
always.
Yeah.
Celebrity crush growing up.
I've always been attracted to older types. So I was
Oh.
like, when I was little, I had a big crush on Robert Downey Jr. I just thought he was so handsome and so
Yeah.
suave.
Yeah, he's cool.
He seems like a really cool guy.
Yeah, he is a really cool guy.
Yeah.
If you could be an animal, what would you pick?
Probably a dolphin because they like to entertain people. But they can also be aggressive sexually. So I don't know if I identify with that so much. But so maybe a sloth. So I can sleep 20 hours a day and be able to justify it.
Can't go wrong with either one. In the meanwhile, you can check out Insatiable on Netflix, and you can follow her on Instagram at Kimmy Shields. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, guys.
On with Mario Lopez.